How y'all doing, everybody? Out in TV land, Facebook land. It's Against the Grain Sports with your host, Jody Coleman. We're going to be talking about the NBA. We're going to be talking about the games that we had last night. We're going to be talking about the games we got tonight. We're going to go ahead and introduce our staff tonight. We're going to go ahead and go to my left and let him introduce himself.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Gerard McCain, Against the Grain Sports NBA analyst.
I'm Donald Coleman, Against the Grain Sports college basketball analyst.
So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get it right into the games from last night. We're going to be doing each and every night. We're going to be putting these on Facebook. You're going to be able to check us out on Twitter. You're going to be able to check us out on YouTube. You're going to be able to check us out on Ustream. So I want y'all to follow us. We from Dayton, Ohio. We want y'all to go ahead and get it from our perspective. Leave comments, inboxes, anything you can to kind of get your perspective. We want everybody to have an opportunity to voice y'all opinions. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start with the question of the Miami Heat. They played the Boston Celtics in Game 1, and a lot of question marks was raised. Was it more or less Boston playing a great game, or was it Miami with problems in the future?
Pretty much it was a combination of both. You got a Boston team that was playing pretty good defense. They had their offense clicking. And then you had a Miami team who had a stagnant offense. The defense just wasn't there, and the coaching just wasn't there. You got a team that scores 9 points in a quarter, and the coach just sits on the bench and watches the game as if he's in the stands spectating.
So how you're going to blame the 9 points on the coach? How do you blame that on the coach?
Because if you sit there and watch your team struggle and you don't do anything, you don't make any adjustments, you don't make them call plays, you just sit there. Yes, that's a coaching problem.
When I look at the game, I believe he called a timeout. So
okay, anybody can call a timeout, but what did they do when they went back in the game?
That's a player. That's a personnel problem. That's not a coaching problem. So Donald, what did you see in the game? Was it more Boston or was it more Miami? Who has the more to worry about?
I think, honestly, Boston is just a better team. Secondly, I feel like LeBron James is a ball stopper.
Okay.
To where he pounds the ball so much that you have no choice but to watch.
Okay.
So with the team, with Miami watching a lot, it's just they have no spacing or anything. And Eric Spoelstra, he's Eric Spoelstra.
I mean, but how are we going to blame Eric Spoelstra when it's not his fault? Because the guy that we're not placing any of the blame, I don't think is Eric Spoelstra, nor is it LeBron James or Dwayne Wade. It's Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is the key element. When you bring a big man in, you're expecting the big man to draw double team, and he drew no double team. They were able to man him up one-on-one, and no space was created on that floor. And that's what caused Boston, who is an excellent defensive team, able to man them up one-on-one, and no lanes was created.
Chris Bosh is who you thought he is.
And what's that?
A jump shooting big man who can take a bigger player off the dribble.
And he didn't do none of that. He scored. He had 8 points. He was 3 for 11 shooting, and it was just absolutely just ridiculous. I think Boston is a great team, but I think Miami is going to be in for it because that was a playoff atmosphere. It's going to be 82 games of playoff atmosphere games because they're going to give their best shot to Miami. That was the most watched game in regular season history. That was the most watched game.
Going back to Chris Bosh, it's kind of hard to get in the rhythm of your game when you got LeBrick pounding the air off the ball.
Well, and we got here that just hating on Eric Spoelstra. We just not going to be able to do it. But it's crazy that that LeBron James got headlines when our world champion Los Angeles Lakers, the world champions, got the second tier of news. But the Los Angeles Lakers also played a game, and they played the Houston Rockets. They played a very good game. The Rockets also looked well. What do you think, and what did you see in that game?
I like the Rockets. Great wing players. But I just felt like the Lakers understand they're a better team, so they just, when it was time to go in the fourth quarter, they just said go and went on ahead and won the game.
How did you feel in that game? What did you see?
Pretty much I saw the Lakers do what they're going to do all year, what they did last year. They were down, bench came in, took over, gave them that extra spark, gave them that extra energy, allowed the starters to rest, and they took over the game. But with Houston still could have won that game, but the thing about Houston was with Yao Ming being rusty, they didn't have that go-to player that could have got them out of that fourth quarter and got those points when they counted. You know, Martin, he's pretty good. Brooks is good. They're good scorers, but they're not go-to players. They need Yao Ming to shake that rust off so he can be the go-to player in that fourth quarter.
And I think he will. Once time they wanted to play him 24 minutes, I think he still fouled out in the game. I think that he will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. And I think the Houston Rockets will be. There was also another game that was played in opening night was the Portland Trail Blazers. They also played the Phoenix Suns, and they looked awfully good. The Portland Trail Blazers could be a team to be reckoned with out west as well. But with you being a New York Knicks fan, I'm going to ask you first, what do you feel that season has to offer? What do you see the season, and where y'all end at the end of the season?
I see us ending up at least the 5th or the 6th spot in the playoffs. The Knicks looked real good tonight. I think it was like 5 or 6 players in double digits. Maury had a nice game. He had a double-double. We're going to be all right. You know, we're sharing the ball. Everybody's getting involved, and it's not a one-man team.
Okay. You're in Chicago Bulls. How do you feel?
Bulls came out losing in first game of a high-paced, exciting game of two young teams. They just ended up getting the best of us at the end. Feel like we're missing our second-best player in Carlos Boozer, who will come back. I think we'll finish 3rd or 4th in the East.
San Antonio Spurs is my team. I still think that we're going to be in a 6 or 7 seed, depending on how Pop gets everybody together. Tim is pretty much on his last leg, but I think we will be a playoff team, of course. But that's Against the Grain Sports, our NBA edition. Come and check us out on Facebook, Twitter. I want y'all to leave y'all comments and everything. We want to hear y'all voice, Facebook. Check us out. So this is Against the Grain Sports. I'm Jody Coleman, your host. Gerard McCain, Donald Coleman. Check us out. Facebook. Get at us.
Peace.